Hello everyone, and welcome to the second part of the regeneration tutorial video.
I agree with the second part.
Anyway, let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to deselect everything so we can go faster. I'm going to go where the big blast begins. So there, and I'm going to need the rotoscope here that we used for the glowing and the particles. So I'm going to get the glowing rotoscope hand layer here, Command D to duplicate it. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to make it a solid, so click to the adjustment layer tick, make it visible. I'm going to make it white, so solid settings, white, click OK, OK. I'm going to delete the curves, and I'm going to use shine from trapcode. So I'm going to select shine. As you have seen before, what shine does is it makes this kind of sun effect. I don't know how to define it, but yeah, it creates like this glowing thing, and you can play with the settings. So make the raise larger, and also a lot of things here. But the problem that we have is that later we are the layer is going to move, and it's not going to work properly. So I'm going to deselect the effect. I'm going to press M to see the mask. I'm going to cut it, so Command X or Control X if you're working Windows. Layer, solid settings. I'm going to make it bigger so it covers all the composition. Fine. And I'm going to go to the first keyframe where the mask started, so I'm going to paste it. Command V. I'm going to apply the effect. Move again the source point. So now it works fine. What I'm going to do anyway is to make it look more yellow. So I'm going to go to colorize, make this like orange, light orange, and make this more yellow. And I'm going to use it as in the screen mode. Well, maybe not now, maybe later. So I'm going to play with the settings here, and what I need to do is to cover the hand with this effect. So I'm going to make it yellow, yeah, more yellow here. So not the shimmer right now. I'm going to increase the boost light, increase it to 5 maybe, and I'm going to increase the ray length. So yeah, now we cover the hand is covered. And if I move the source point to exactly where the sleeve is, yeah. And the good thing is that I'm going to call this little blast, because it's not the big one. And the good thing is that we are following the tracking from the null object that we have here in the here. so it's going to follow the movement of the hand, and we don't have to move the source point. But what we have to do is to go to the, I'm going to deselect a moment the layer, so the little blast, well, the big blast, it starts here. So I'm going to cut this layer, make it visible again. Maybe we'll have actually to move the source point, but only there at the beginning. So move it here. And we have to play with the settings also. So I'm going to go 5 frames after the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to create a keyframe for the ray length and the boost light. I'm going to go to the beginning and make this smaller. So like 5 maybe, and 2. So now, if I make visible the other layers that we have for the right hand, this is the transition between one and the other one. So come on, bam. So again, pa, paf. Big blast. Maybe move it, make it appear sooner. So, pa. Or we can make the boost light maybe 1. Yeah. Okay, it seems it's working. Just go move through your timeline to see everything is working properly. Maybe if you have to move the source point, move it so no parts of the hand are visible. So this is only to cover the hand. This is not the big blast itself. I'm going to put it to screen right now. And it looks like really boring. I mean, it doesn't do any animation. It just stays there because I'm not moving the hand. So what I'm going to do to make it more interesting, it's to select this door, world length displays. I'm going to make it smaller, maybe 20, and the amount also smaller. I'm going to parent the offset, the source point from the offset to the source point from the shine effect. So Alt, click, Alt, click. I'm going to parent it. And I'm going to create an expression here. So Alt, click again to evolution, and I'm going to write time multiplied, I don't know, 500, for example. Okay. So let's see how it looks. I'm going to deselect the layers here. I'm going to put this in half. Resolution, and let's see how it looks. So I don't know if it's doing, if it's like really, yeah, well, we can see some animation here. I'm going to change this to 30 maybe. The good thing about this new version of After Effects is that, as you can see, things update while I'm pre-visualizing, so I don't have to stop. Yeah, it's something subtle, but it's there. You can see that it animates a little bit. So yes, I'm going. So this is like the little blast, and now we're going to work with the important one. It's the big blast itself. So I'm going to duplicate this layer because we're going to use the same one. Duplicate, and we're going to use the same effect, but I'm not going to need it right now. I'm going to deselect the little blast. Call this big blast. Big, not bug. There. And we are going to create for this one a fractal noise. So noise, fractal noise. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a new composition. You don't have to do this. This is only to show you what I'm trying to create. So I'm going to create a new layer. Whatever. To create a new fractal noise. And the thing is that when you apply the shine effect, so drop code shine, what it does, it uses the bright parts of the fractal noise to you do the effect. And if you animate it, well, and it also makes transparent the dark parts, so you can see that this is what is going on. So I'm going to make the brightness bigger. So what I'm going to do is more or less this, but with the hand and animate it. So back again, I'm going to delete this composition. Delete. And big blast, fractal noise. I'm going to solo the layer. So I'm going to use, I don't know, dynamic twist. Why not? I mean, you can use whatever you want. But you have to make you have to increase the contrast. So you have like dark and bright spots. And move the evolution so you can see that the hand is covered, most of it. And another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the shape of the hand, because right now if I apply the effect, I really want to increase it in comparison with the other one. You can see that the effect is also going to this side, and we only want to go it like to the downside of the video. So what I'm going to do is change the shape of the hand. So I'm going to delete some points here. I'm going to make it more like a square shape. Again, solo the mask. And apply another expression here. So alt click, time multiplied 600, why not? If you see that it doesn't cover most of the hand, just play with the settings, maybe make it smaller. Play with the evolution. Well, right now you can't because I'm using an expression, but play with it. So you can see that most of the hand is has some fractal noise. Okay. So now and solo, and the magic begins here. Bam! This is how I did the big blast. So what I'm going to do is press U to see the keyframes. I'm going to delete the source, the keyframes from the source point that I used before, because the source point has to be like there. So it doesn't have to be like in the sleeve. If we want to, and maybe a little bit up, so it gives this direction. So we go from here to the big blast that starts here, and as I said, it should be like 124.5 boost light, maybe 150. Move the video and check that it works fine. I'm also going to make the ray length a little bigger. And also play with the turbulence displacement, but this time do it bigger also. So 58, bigger the amount also, maybe not that big. I'm going to press EE to see the expressions, so maybe also do this 600, why not? This is play with the settings again, like with the particles. So you can see here that, and I created the little blast so it covers the hand. So now if I apply the little blast, and it seems a little bit weird, but if I go to the original composition, it gets out of the frame, so it looks, I think it looks nice. So I'm going to see if the speed it's fine. So let's check it. I'm going to press this to half. Yeah, it seems to be working. But I think I'm going to make the particle, the fractal noise move faster. So 700. And again, it's play with the settings. So if you want to have more, a bigger blast, just you can do it in several ways. If you increase the brightness from the fractal noise, it's away. You can also increase the boost light. fact, I think I'm going to increase it a little bit. Maybe here in the middle of the big blast, so I'll make it bigger. You can also play with the shimmer. If you increase the amount, it's also going to get bigger, larger. But I'm not going to, but you can if you, well, maybe a little bit. And again, play with the settings. So this is the way I did it, but it's not all. So if you want to be perfectionist, as I want to, I'm going to create some particles. So create a solid, okay, particles, big blast, go to the beginning, effect, trap code, particles, particular, move it here, follow the here the number again, 17, so 17, so it follows the track of the hand. I'm going to solo it for a moment, and emitter, uniform no, directional. I'm going to increase the speed. So I'm going to rotate this. Oh. And move it down. Make it a box. Increase the velocity a lot. Increase the particles. Make them yellow. I like yellow. Close sphere. So now it looks a little bit weird, and it's not. The layer is going outside the image, so but that's not an issue. So move it here. And again, it looks a little bit weird, so I'm going to put some motion blur. So rendering, motion blur, compose settings are on. So now you can see how they move. Maybe it's too many particles, maybe, and I'm going to make them darker, just a little bit. So you can see that there's something going outside the hands. It's not only the big blast. You can also make bigger the, where is it, the direction spread. So you can see something here. And again, I'm going to previsualize this, and it seems to warp. And yeah, I have to create a keyframe for the particles. So particles, I'm going to move it one keyframe. Again, good particles, go to the beginning, and 0. And the last step is, now we are going to play with the adjustment layer that I talked about in the first part of the video. So I'm going to make it visible. This is going to be the part of the body, the right side of the body, and also the arm, that they are going to be affected by the big blast, by the light.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
So what we're going to do is make a keyframe here, well, make a mask here, maybe add some feather. So I'm going to use the feather tool. On and here. And I'm going to press M. And this is just rotoscoping, but in a really rough way. And you don't have to be really precise. So yeah, as you can see, this is just making the arm be affected by the light of the big blast. Whoa, where are you going? What are you doing? I'm going to press U to see the keyframes because I think I'm messing things up. So curves. I'm going to move this, make it like really bright when the big blast begins. So here. So here. So bam. And I'm going to do the same with the right side of the body. What I could do is maybe track the maybe this button and create another layer, but I'm going to use the same one, although it's going to follow the track of the hand, so it's not going to be as precise as the track with the arm here. But it's to not use too many layers, although I'm using quite a lot of them right now. But anyway, this is just for the purposes of the tutorial, so make a mask here, put some feathers, so press F, and press M, create a path, maybe add some feather with a feather tool. And yeah, rotoscope it. I'm going to go to the last one and then fill the ones in between. Okay, so now I have animated the masks here. So you can see that they cover the part of the arm that we're interested in, and the gabardine here and here, and the suit. And I also have changed a bit some settings in the curve, so the light looks a little bit more yellow, and I also have added more feather here to the masks. But besides that, what we want to do now is to make the light wiggle a bit. So I'm going to press T to lower the opacity, and I can do it several ways. So one of them could be create a keyframe here, go to the end, create another, and go to the wiggler, select both of them, and change some settings here and click apply. But if I want to change the settings later, I would have to delete it and do it again, and I want to have more control. So what I'm going to do is close this panel, delete these keyframes, and I'm going to go to the beginning of the Big Blast here. And I'm going to create an expression control, the slider one, so slider control. And I'm going to rename this. This is going to be the frequency. I'm going to duplicate it, and this is going to be the amplitude. So amplitude. And I'm going to now create an expression in the opacity. So I'll click and write wiggle, open parenthesis. I'm going to get the peak whip and parent it to the frequency, comma, peak whip and parent it to the amplitude, and close parenthesis. So now these two expression controls will control the wiggle completely, and I can change the settings later if I want to. So I'm going to create here 2 keyframes, move 3 frames to the right, 1, 2, 3, and so the Big Blast begins, and I'm going to write here 10, so 10 times per second, and here 30. So now if we see it, you can see that it's working properly. This is an effect that you should use if you are using this kind of effect, or if you are using fire, or I don't know, a TV switched on and it's affecting the environment. I mean, you have to think in these kind of things when you do visual effects. I have seen people that have done the regeneration effect also, and they have missed this part, but I believe it gives more realism. Okay, so this is it. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to apply the effects to the head also and the left hand, and I'll come back once I have finished. Okay, so I have added the effects to the head and the left hand, so your video should look more or less like this, the complete video. So particles and Big Blast. You can see also the light on the jacket, on this part of the head, well, of the chest, and yeah, that's it. There are also some particles here moving in the blast of energy. It's very subtle, but they are there, and yeah, that's it. You can also realize, if I go frame by frame, that the head starts to glow before the hands. I don't know, I thought it was a little bit weird that everything just started to glow at the same time, although it makes more sense. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go to the project. So here we are, and so your composition should look like this. I have moved the trackings to the top of the timeline, so you can see here, and I also have added some colors to the layers to have some order. So yeah, you should have the thing that the light affecting to the body. So here the head, particles, big blast, little blast, light affecting the sleeve and the arm, particles, big blast, little blast, light, particles, big blast, little blast. So what else? Yeah, I have changed some settings. For example, now if I go to the big blast and I press EE to the expressions, I have changed this to 500. 700 was too quick. But play with the settings. You're gonna see that I'm always saying play with the settings. And also, if you play with the scale in the fractal noise, the smaller you make it, the more strings or strokes of energy you will have. So you can see here, if I go really to 1, I mean this is like really extreme. You can see that there are a lot of strings there. So it depends on what you want. And also I have changed this to 16 bits per channel, because if I had it as I had it originally, it was 8. You can see that we have this issue, that there is no smoothness in the colors. We can see the steps here. So change it to 16 bits per channel, and yeah, it works fine. And one more things to do before I finish this part of the video. There's something missing. So if I go to my video, it's fine. The effect is working there, but there's something missing. We don't have a lot of motion in the scene. So I have here the rendered composition, although you don't have to render it. I did it just to go faster. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press P, add a keyframe, go to the last frame, add another one, and here we're going to add the wiggler. So the frequency can be, I don't know, 5, magnitude 15. Okay, let's apply it. I'm going to close this panel, and I press B. And now, once the big blast starts, we have some animation in the footage. I mean, it just gives, like, I don't know, more strength to the scene. More, yeah, like the blast of energy is affecting the camera. I think it helps. So yeah. It also could be a little bit less, maybe 15 is too much, but this is for the purposes of the tutorial, so you just have to make the scale bigger to fix the black spots here. So maybe 103%. And yes, yeah, I have clicked this because the background it's more visible if it's white. So yeah, it seems that we have filled all the gaps. So yeah. Okay, so this is it. This is the end of this long video, although it's not the end of the tutorial. But if you have worked only with a big shot, you can do the regeneration with the things that I have shown you. But if you have worked also with the close-up, the next videos are going to be about the morphing and the big blast. So I hope to see you there. Bye!